difference between Hinduism and hindutva? Is it the same thing or not? You've been asked this a million times, but still.
Right. Hindutva is a religio-political civilizational construct which is resistive in nature to protect Hindu dharma and its adherents. It is a necessity of the times we live in. Unfortunately so, even after several years of Savarkar's passing. And I've said this in my debate with Mr. Tharoor or Dr. Tharoor, that it came much before Savarkar and it was actually formulated by Chandranath Boshu. Not Savarkar. Savarkar did not coin Hindutva, it came much before him. And a detailed extract exists, an exposition of what is Hindutva. So Hindutva in that particular sense, Twa translates to ness, and therefore it's Hindu-ness. And it is to say, wear that identity with pride. So Hinduism is the object of protection. Hindutva is both the sword as well as the shield to protect that particular Hindu nature. That's the answer. Now, from my perspective, what does it translate to? I've clearly said in the first book that a civilizational attempt at rediscovering your roots and reinscribing your values on the political establishment is Hindutva. And it is perfectly justified. We don't need to be apologetic about it even one bit.
So Hinduism can coexist peacefully along with Hindutva. They don't need to be in dissonance with each other.
The existence of Hinduism in the current day is predicated on Hindutva being kept alive. If Hinduism were living in peacetime, Hindutva will sleep. But if that's not the case, Hindutva has to stand up. It is the Kshatriya aspect of Hinduism.
That pacifist nature of Hinduism is supposed to have kept this civilization alive despite the invasions, despite the colonialism.
On the contrary, it's the martial spirit that has kept this civilization alive. The Vijayanagar Empire, Rana Pratap, the Marathas. Do you think they were being peaceful and therefore they were let alive? No, not at all. Pacifism has crept into this country after the introduction of the Arms Act under the British, where they chose to take away your weapons. And they chose to ban all your martial traditions such as Kalaripayattu, which is practiced in the southern part of the country. All these traditions were banned. So Kalaripayattu is effectively a martial art which is believed to have been founded by Sri Parashurama, and therefore it is in the Parashurama Kshetra, which is the entire from Konkan to Malabar. The entire region is practiced. Now the point is, it is absolutely factually and historically inaccurate to believe that the peace-loving nature of Hindus is responsible for their continued survival. No. It's the sword that protected you. Someone constantly wielded the sword. It's the Kshatriyas, the Kshatra, and the non-Kshatriyas who ended up taking the role of Kshatriyas. They were the ones to do this for us. This pacifism is the consequence of the moderate spirit introduced into Indian public discourse by the creation of this entity called the Congress. I say this very clearly, that it was done to diffuse a fire. A.O. Hume had 7 volumes of reports saying that there was an underground movement building with massive collection of arms. And there would be a massive repeat of 1857 or even worse. Then he chooses to come out with the safety valve theory that we need to create a political body which provides, let's say, a platform for ventilation so that this anger is dissipated. And therefore we have our ears to the ground. That ears to the ground is the Congress.